You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by and being part of the show today. We're always so thankful for our audience because you guys are always so cute and wonderful and delectable. And I don't know, I'm just really trying to butter my audience up this morning because, you know, we just love you guys. Remember, Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you, but doesn't judge you. At least not as harshly as your mom does. Now go clean your room. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Give us that 5-star review over the iTunes there. We get the most loveliest reviews, and they're so nice. Sometimes I sit and weep. They're so loving and wonderful. So make one up there. Put one up if you would. We certainly appreciate it. YouTube.com, Goodreads.com/Chris Voss. See the big LinkedIn newsletter, all the stuff we're doing on LinkedIn. Lots of new LinkedIn stuff. Great. That's like the last ditch with all the stuff that's going on Twitter and stuff right now. And Facebook seems to be suspending. A friend of mine on Facebook got suspended for saying happy birthday to somebody the other day. So the bots are crazy over there. So go see what we're doing on LinkedIn and also on TikTok. TikTok seems to be the place everyone's at now. So we're trying to master that. Today, we have an amazing author on the show. She's the author of the book called Unreported. Domestic Abuse is an Unreported Crime and Learning to Live, L.I.V.E. Free is a Journey. We'll find out what that's about. Ms. VEERA Mahajan is on the show with us today. Did I get your name correct, VEERA?
Yes, you did. Correctly pronounced, yes.
It's always good. We don't like to butcher names on the show. That's always bad business. And we like everyone to get represented really well. So she is an inspirational author, speaker, and passionate advocate for the eradication of domestic abuse and empowering women. She's an advocate for joyful living through peaceful dispute resolution. Her book talks about domestic abuse awareness and getting rid of abuse from your life for good. She believes that we all deserve a happy and absolutely free life on our own terms. And it's definitely important. No one needs to be abused. Welcome to the show, VEERA. How are you?
I am very good. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate having you on the show. Give us your .coms or wherever you want people to look you up on the interwebs, please.
You can just look me up on my name website, VEERA, VEERA, Mahajan, MAHAJAN.com.
There you go.
And you can find me on Instagram, full name at VEERA Mahajan, Facebook, full name at VEERA Mahajan. And you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm not that big on Twitter. Once in a while, I do post something there. But these three, I kind of keep pretty active.
Twitter's kind of going some crazy places. So I've kind of been like over on LinkedIn doing a lot of stuff. And we have our big LinkedIn newsletter over there. We have a big 130,000 group. We have the LinkedIn newsletter that goes out on weekdays. And, you know, it's just so much more professional over there, too. But Facebook, we have 5 Facebook groups or 3. Oh, it's 2 pages, 3 Facebook groups. Facebook seems to be doing okay, but they just laid off a bunch of people. And I've gotten suspended over just telling 2 jokes that were just like, we did a joke about the Netflix Jeffrey Dahmer show. And evidently you can't do jokes about serial killers anymore. I guess that's so it's kind of crazy out there. So we're just loving our LinkedIn stuff, and it's good.
I think Instagram is doing similar things. They're just taking people off their verified.
Yeah, it's weird. So anyway, it's good to have you on the show. Well, give us an idea. What motivated you want to write this book?
What motivated me? Because I hate to call myself that, but that's what I feel, that I'm an expert on domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I lived as a child in domestic abuse. And now that I think back, that's what kind of grooms you. When you live that, you think that's a normal.
Yeah.
And then you find a little bit better. And then that's what I thought my husband was. He was at least not as bad. as my dad, because my dad was very physically abusive to my mom mostly and my older brother.
Wow.
But we all got a little bit out of it, not out of it, but we all got abused, but not as bad as my mom and my older brother.
Mhm.
And then you kind of get used to standing by the wall and watching your mom being yelled at or hit or whatever. And then when you think your husband is a little bit better, who may turn into eventually the same, you're groomed into that, right?
Yeah.
And you have learned how to accept it and how to live in it. So that's what I'm doing right now. And anyway, you were saying what motivated me, because I did not want that to go from my mother's generation to me and then to my children. So I made sure, even though my ex also my kid's dad started to be very abusive and was abusive as the years went by. And I lived there because I knew it was going to be most worse if I had to leave, because then you get into custody battle. And he was threatening me on that. He will take my children away and custody battles. Plus, I was always afraid that he's going to go get married again, which he did even after I waited 23 years very quickly. But then who's going to protect my kids when they're not with me? At least I'm protecting them, and at least we were together. And then at least he was gone a lot. We had business and they were traveling. He had traveling kind of, business. So the thing is, we find different names, small names for the big problems so we can survive them. So we can kind of say, oh, he's just angry. He just drinks. He just does that. He just does that. And then, but if we give it a bigger name, then it's abuse and should not be taking it. So that's what the message I'm trying to give to people and educate women and families, that what happens to the wives, to the whole family. Our husband's not happy either. He may be abusive, but he's not happy, right? If we find a way to live a happier life and more peaceful life, then it's good for everybody. But otherwise, if you've tried everything, and I'm not saying just first time, just go get a divorce, right? You have to try to make it work, especially if you have children.
Yeah.
But if you've tried, you should not be in abuse. Then you have to leave.
That's
So
true.
That's what I'm educating. But I mean, to just leave, a lot of women say, what will I do? How will I do? How will I take care of the kids? And that's what I'm trying to teach in this book also. Domestic abuse awareness, first of all, that are you living in abuse? That's why I called it unreported crime. Nobody talks about it. People just like, oh, don't wash, whatever you call dirty laundry, put it out to people to see, keep it behind closed doors. We don't know what's happening. It takes two to fight or two to do this or that. No, sometimes it's just one way of use. And the other one is just taking. Marriage is a compromise. If it's a compromise back and forth, yes. But if it's one person only getting and the other person only giving. So all these things I'm explaining, that what changes it into abuse and how to get out of it. And if you do decide to get out of it, that was my big thing. When I was going through divorce, my lawyer would say, I'm not your therapist. Go talk to her. And I'm like already crying here in the middle of the story. And now it's like, oh, I have to wait for an appointment to go to the therapist. And therapist said, well, I can't give you legal advice. You got to go talk to the lawyer. I'm running back and forth, paying $400 here, $500 here, per hour. They're not cheap, and they don't do when you're in the middle of it. And then the hour ends when you're like in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
All those things that they weren't explaining, I'm explaining in this. So this little book is made like that on purpose, so everybody can read. And even if it's not so expensive, it's small, you can read, get enough information, keep it for, a guidebook, or just give it to somebody. Easy gift. If you know someone is going through that, just give it to them, read it and pass it on. And that's the message I'm trying to pass on to as many people as I can. I was doing mediations, which you mentioned in the beginning. I am a trained mediator from Pepperdine University at their law school. And I was teaching at schools, and I was teaching and doing mediations for people to resolve conflicts, to keep you out of courts, because that way you're making decisions for yourself. And I was teaching at school to teach children from start. And the principal said I was able to reduce violence and conflicts by 75%.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You do that as well. I was looking at your